Halloween Horror Nights 2023 is finally here, and while it's not a perfect event, is it worth going to? We're going to answer that right now as we go through all of the haunted houses, the scare zones, the new attractions, ranked from worst to best, and give you a final review score to know what is good and what isn't to do at Halloween Horror Nights 2023. To kick it off, I love Halloween Horror Nights. I'm a big horror head. I started going in 2019, and then when they came back after the pandemic in 21 and 22, I loved all of those events. I love getting scared. I love seeing the houses. I have a certain way that I go through each of the houses. It might be a little bit different than what some people out there do. I focus a lot on the story of the house. It helps to immerse you in as you're walking through, to try to forget about the clown in front of you, and not a killer clown, the actual clown human being, because a lot of the people I went through last night with did not want to be bothered by any of the stuff in the mazes. I have no idea why people go to these things and don't want to get scared or don't want to interact with anything, so you'll see in some of the video footage, there's two particular people that I want to point out that are just big burly guys walking through that want to be, oh, I'm super cool, I'm not going to get scared by anything. When you're going through these haunted houses, be courteous. Don't try to touch the scare actors. Be courteous to the people around you, but you get immersed. Get immersed into the story. So I focus a lot on the story, focus a lot on the effects. I focus a lot on the environmental aspect of it, if they pump sounds in, sights, all of that. And it just goes through, so we're going to get a grade for all of these different houses. To start off with, let's go to the 9th one, because we do have 9 houses, including the Terror Tram. So we'll start off with the 9th one. The 9th house, as you can see here, is The Exorcist Believer. The movie isn't out yet. It comes out on October 6th, so this is a very strange decision by Universal Studios to put a haunted house out basically a month before the actual movie comes out. And this one, it felt very bare. And last year's Exorcist was a repeat, but not last year's Exorcist, pardon me. 2021's Exorcist was a repeat of a previous maze, and that one is absolutely excellent. It goes through the plot of the movie very, very well, nice effects. This one, it felt like it goes through the plot of the trailer more than anything, and the effects are nice, the characters and the scare actors look really nice, but it's just, there was no story to speak of in this to help get you immersed into it. If you've seen the trailer for it, I did do a reaction video about it somewhere on here. You can see the card, but it felt very bare. And it just didn't really catch me. It didn't hook me. Some of the scares were pretty nice. Some of the effects are pretty nice. But other than that, it just felt kind of blah. And it's kind of stuck in a spot where there normally isn't a haunted house anyway at these events. So it felt like this one might have been thrown together a little bit, but The Exorcist Believer, it's very clearly the weakest house of the bunch, and you might like it more than I did. This one it just didn't do it for me. This one's going to get what did I give this? A C. Gave it a C off of my little grade sheet over here that you can see that I have. I gave it a C, and maybe it'll get better with one going through, but this one felt very just meh. At number 8, we have Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. I was so excited for this house. I was so stoked because they haven't had a Child's Play house. They haven't had a Chucky in a long time. And this one, it looks beautiful. It follows the plot of the show, which is excellent. The show is great. Watch it on Peacock. The 3rd season comes out soon. That follows the plot of the series really well. There's a lot of different Chuckies running around. There's only one scare actor that I saw, and I know it's very difficult to get scare actors that look like Chucky because he's about this tall, but there's other characters they could have picked and gone through, and it just felt very empty. The actual house itself is beautiful. There's a lot of different cool effects. They pump in gingerbread smells during the Christmas parts. So it's not without merit, but it just felt a little empty. It felt a little lifeless because most of the scares, 99% of the scares, are with animatronics or puppets coming out. And there's one cool bit at the very end. I won't spoil it. I won't show it here. But if you're going through, there's one very, very cool bit right at the end that fans of Chucky will love. So if you love Chucky, you're going to like this maze a lot more. I love Chucky, but going through it with an eye for story and all of that, it just didn't meet the mark. Needed a little more scare actors to go through. Number 7, we have the one that's right next to Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. We have Universal Monsters Unmasked. After The Bride of Frankenstein returns, Haunted House in 2021, the Universal Monsters have always been my go-to. Last year's was really great as well. This one takes some of the lesser-known monsters. It has the Phantom of the Opera, it has the Invisible Man, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it has the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Almost forgot him there. So some lesser-known ones, but not all of them get their moments to shine. The Invisible Man has one of the coolest effects I've ever seen in one of these houses, and there's only one scene with them. It's like they get like 5% of it. There's just too many characters going in here, and going through, it felt like they could have cut out one of the characters and focused a little bit more on them. The effects are really nice. The creature effect, especially on Dr. Jekyll, great, or Mr. Hyde, great looking, but it felt like it could have used a little more. It could have used a little more oomph, especially from the story. It just felt kind of like some vignettes of the characters and less like a coherent thing like The Bride of Frankenstein or last year's Universal Monsters Maze as well. Maybe in the future they should go back to one character or two like they did with Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, but we'll have to see. This one, it's fine. It's serviceable. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B minus, actually, not a B. And it doesn't really do it. The scares aren't there. Last year's maze had like a triple scare where all 3 monsters popped out at you. This one doesn't have anything like that. So it's just not very scary. It's cool looking to a degree, but it's just not very scary, and a lot of the characters don't get a lot of focus. So this one suffers a bit for that. Number 6, we have one that hurts me, breaks my heart. We have Stranger Things 4, and this one goes through the 4th season of Stranger Things, but there's so many characters in that season that get left out here. There's no Hopper, there's no Joyce, there's no Murray, there's no Jonathan, there's no Erica, there's no Will, there's no Mike, and that's 7 main characters from the show that just aren't here. You don't get very much Eddie either. You basically get Eddie's voice, and then you get him dying, and that's it. You get Dustin for that scene as well. You get a couple of scenes with Eleven, but it just doesn't focus a lot on the characters. The makeup, however, Vecna looks absolutely fantastic, just like the goddamn show. Amazing, amazing makeup work here on Vecna. Just really terrifying, really scary how he pops out at you. The other thing that's a bit disappointing, I know it would be a lot for Halloween Horror Nights to pay the licensing rights to get Master of Puppets and Running Up That Hill, but those are 2 of the just most important scenes from the show, from the season, and they don't have them. They don't even have Eddie with a guitar. So it's just small things like that that just kind of blow your mind, where you go, do you guys not look at the cultural impact of the show and try to figure out how we could get these, or just have them with a generic rock soundtrack playing for Eddie's guitar? It's just small things like that that add and make it a little bit disappointing. And it still gets a B plus because it goes through the story of the season pretty well. You get some really cool effects, especially with Eleven and Vecna, and the Rainbow Room looks fantastic with 1 and Little Eleven. So there's stuff like that that makes it so that it looks really, really nice and it's really cool, but then there's other things that kind of drag it down, so it gets a B plus for that reason. Breaks my heart, but this one's still really worth walking through. Number 5, we have the only repeat. We have Holidays in Hell, which comes from the 2019 edition. This one goes through a full year of a calendar from New Year's to Christmas with tons of holidays and tons of scary monsters and funny things about those holidays. You go through New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So you get plenty of sections, and it's strange how they fit all of these sections and made them all feel pretty important in this house. But then in other ones, they didn't give enough time to other characters. There's 4 characters in the Universal Monsters house. There's 7 holidays here. And they fit in plenty of time to give everything time to shine. It's really well paced. There's scare actors at every moment that you want them to be at. They scare the crap out of you. They're really nice. There's smells pumped in and everything. This one is a really good reunion for Holidays in Hell. I really enjoyed this one. This one, the wait is also not very long usually. I guess people want to go to all the more higher profile ones on the lower lot. So you can knock this one out or you can save this one for later. Either way, Holidays in Hell, fantastic, fantastic redo for Halloween Horror Nights 2023. I love this one. Can't wait to go through it again. 4, we have the Terror Tram. We have the Terror Tram Exterminators. So we have, this one isn't attached to a movie. You do go through the Nope set, once again, with all the us people running around. They're having the times of their lives. But this one focuses on Larry Larva and the Exterminators with a Z. Feels a lot like Beetlejuice, the whole shtick that he's going for. And it's about bugs that are trying to exterminate humans. You walk through, you go through the Bates Motel, you go by Norman Bates' house. You go through the War of the Worlds set and all of the different set pieces that they have that are painted neon and all of that, and black lights look really cool. The scare actors, all of the bugs look amazing. They don't look hokey. It's weird that the collars all match up and everything like that. The bugs look great. The only thing that I can say is that when you walk through like the alleyway that's right next to the Bates house, the scare actors, they don't have any sort of sounds to work with. There's no lights or anything, so they're just kind of opening doors and popping out. Normally in the past, they've had little clickers or whatever that make it seem like, okay, cool, this is where they're going through. Click, and then they scare you. But they don't have them this year. Seems like they could have added that and added to the scare factor a bit, but these scare actors are all having the times of their lives. They're all really well done in their makeup. And they added a section to it. They add a section where you go through the Squooge factory, which is the sort of poison for humans that Larry Larva made up. Really cool section with some bugs and humans and people that are really gross looking, actually. It just all adds up to an excellent Terror Tram experience. The video on the way there is great. And then, of course, on the way back, you get some ads for Universal stuff. But just a great, great Terror Tram, one of the best. And then the Nope section is just as cool as always as it was last year. This one gets an A. It's very solid Terror Tram. Don't wait to do this one. They close at 11:15, or I think 12:15 on days where Horror Nights closes at 2. So don't wait. Go through it. You won't regret it. Finally, we have the 3. We have the Holy Trinity, the trifecta of perfecta, as I'm going to call it. Number 3, we have Evil Dead Rise, which gets an A+. It's in the old horror hotel section from last year, The Walking Dead queue. Thank God they got rid of The Walking Dead because we're all tired of it. I know The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon might change that, but we're all tired of it. Evil Dead Rise. It's astounding how perfect this fits the section. There's an elevator, an old school elevator outside that looks exactly like the one from the movie. There's a bathtub right when you walk in that looks exactly like the one from the movie. All the corridors and everything look exactly like the old LA apartment building from Evil Dead Rise. It's crazy. This one goes through the whole movie, goes through all the beats that you would want to hit. The makeup is perfect. You have chainsaws. You have people popping out of corners with chainsaws. You have blob, deadites and stuff like that. You have perfect makeup. It's just one of the best examples of a haunted house that goes through a movie that gives you everything you would want to see from the movie. It's astounding. It's great. I loved Evil Dead Rise, the movie. The haunted house is even better. It's so fun and scary and just immersive as you walk through. If you loved the movie, you're going to love this one. Second, we have The Last of Us. And this one also gets an A+. And it goes through the game. So if Pedro Pascal fans, you're not going to get any lookalikes here. But you go through the game. This one had a little bit of delays. There's some stuff inside that's pretty intricate that might cause delays. For opening night, this one got up to 180 minutes. So if you want to get this one done, you might want to get it done first or way later in the night, depending on, you got to keep checking that Universal app to see how long the wait is, because it got excruciating. Even for me, where I had a press pass with the express pass, it took like 40 minutes to go through the line. It was crazy how long this one got. So if you love The Last of Us, you're going to love this. It goes through parts of the stories of the game without spoiling anything. The scare actors, the actors that are supposed to play Joel and Ellie, look exactly like them. It's crazy how they cast them and put makeup and everything and all that. There was one Joel with the second time I went through that didn't have a beard, that was wearing a gas mask, but whatever, I'll excuse that because the whole house was great. The clickers are the real price of admission here, though. They are disgusting, they're gross, they're gooey and ooey and nasty and scary. There's gunshot effects. This one is the total package. It's really, really damn good, and it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait, folks. Maybe not 180 minutes, but if you can get in 90 minutes, whatever, well worth going through. Number 1, we have Monstros, the Monsters of Latin America, and this one is in the courtyard area. It is one of the best houses that they've ever done. Really, it is immersive. It goes through a culture that some people might not know about and gives you monsters and legends from those cultures. It's scary. You can see here, it has one of those big head scares that I don't even know how they got me here to scare people with, but they did. It's terrifying. And they pump in smells. You go through a butcher shop and it smells like a butcher shop. It smells like meat cooking. It's gross, but it's also immersive. Has some of the best makeup effects outside of The Last of Us. This one has some great ones for the scare actors. There's scare actors spread throughout. It's an immersive experience. I might actually go through this one right when it's twilight, when the sky is changing. It actually fits really well with some of the open air areas. So try to get this one out of the way first, but if you can't, it still works. This one is one of the best that they've ever done. It fits up right up there with, you know, the Blumhouse one from last year with the Black Phone and Freaky. It fits right in with the Universal Monsters, Bride of Frankenstein. Just a great, great haunted house. So next up we have, that's all the houses. We have a quick section about the Purge and the Blumhouse area. The Blumhouse area is basically a glorified trailer for Blumhouse stuff. If it's hot outside, go in, get the AC. But don't wait more than 10 minutes for this. If you want to see the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, great, go for it. But this one is really less of an experience and more of just a trailer for Blumhouse stuff. The Purge, however, I was expecting to be crap. It is not. It is fantastic. It is 20 minutes of stunts, jet ski races, flamethrowers, people getting lit on fire, falling from high distances, fist fights, blood, guts. It's amazing. It actually has a coherent story. It's in the water world area, so you get to watch this whole show. They only do, I think, 4 or 5 shows throughout the night, so make sure you don't miss this. But The Purge, Dangerous Waters, excellent stunt show. Do not miss it because you think it might be hokey or whatever. It's not worth your time. It is worth your time. It's about 20 minutes. Go for it. I loved this. And then the scare zones. The scare zones are a bit disappointing this year. They are. There's one right outside of the Monstros that's really, really great. And then the other 2 are like back to back with each other. It's the toys and the ghosts. The ghosts have chainsaws. The toys are pretty funny, but there's no other scare zones. I guess you can count the Death Eaters in Hogwarts. But other than that, it feels pretty bare when you're walking through certain elements, certain sections, especially down on the lower lot. It just feels like bare. That's what I can say. So for Horror Nights this year, it's well worth going. It might get knocked off by some of the other events in Southern California, like Fright Fest or Not Scary Farm or Shacktoberfest or the Haunted Hayride. We'll have to see when we get to all those. But for now, the king stands on top. Halloween Horror Nights is still well worth your time. If you can get a pass, go through some of the houses and then wait for the other ones or vice versa or whatever you want to do. But I do recommend getting the Express Pass, especially on busy nights, because you will be waiting in line for a long time, especially if you want to get through some of them. However, you can do it if you really put your mind to it and keep checking that Universal app. You can get through all the houses in one night. That's it for this review of Halloween Horror Nights. If you like more horror content, check out Frightathon because it's the month-long marathon of Halloween goodness that we're going through. So check it out. Here's some of the shorts I've done. But what do you think of Halloween Horror Nights? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. So thank you for watching. Halloween never dies. Check out Halloween Horror Nights right here.